What's going on, everybody? I'm Cade Morehouse. I'm with Cade Side Press. Today, I'm joined by Justin's coach, one of his coaches, Luke Caudillo. Luke, how's it going, man?
Well, we're good, man. It's Saturday. End of the week, one more week closer to the fight. Everything's good, man. We're loving it out here.
Yeah, man. Before I get into Justin and everything, one thing I was really interested, in interviewing about is tell me about Gladiators Unleashed, and what you guys do, and what inspired you to get into doing that type of stuff.
Well, it's kind of weird, man. I was a fighter for 14 years, and I was at the end of my career where I knew I wanted to kind of step away from fighting, but I didn't want to leave fighting. I didn't want to leave the whole MMA deal. And Trevor Whitman was the first one to say, "Hey, I want you to come coach with me." And help me run my gym and this and that. So that was a good outlet right there. But I also needed something for me, to do. And I love the outdoors, and I love fighting. I love being around the guys. So I wanted to kind of film hunts, go out, take fighters out, podcasting, obviously, just keep it more for the outdoorsmen, more men. And but I say that, and there's tons of women that come and listen to podcasts and do anything. But I think it started back in 2016. I started it, and Justin was probably one of the main ones that I started working with Gladiators, and yeah, we just been doing it ever since, just getting people in the outdoors and filming it. And obviously the podcast took off way faster than the videos and everything. But yeah, just I wanted to have a connection with the fighters still and the outdoors, and just show people that you know a little bit different aspect of some of the fighters, and have a good time with them.
What was that always your plan, after fighting to start your own business and kind of go down this route, or was this something that kind of developed towards the end of your fighting or after your fighting
Yeah, it
career?
was probably at the end of my career. I was like, man, I don't want to work for nobody. I just, nothing against that, but I just don't have that in me. I've always been a guy that I'm an entrepreneur, man. I always try to, I'll figure it out. I don't need, I don't know. I guess it's just crazy how my life has always worked, but I've, I've always found a way, and, I'll just keep doing it. I always want to do what I want to do, and I always find a way that to pay rent, pay my mortgage, whatever. And don't ask me how sometimes, or some deals happen when I just I'll lose like a major sponsor, or a contract's up and they don't renew, and I'm like, damn, what am I gonna do next? And then bam, a new one comes on. So I've always been a guy that shit happens, and you know uh everything happens for a reason. So I just let things happen, and I just keep rolling with the punches.
Was Trevor somebody that got you inspired to coach, or was that something that throughout your career you always figured you wanted to do afterwards? Because now it seems like you're super involved in Trevor, in that camp, no matter who
Yeah.
he's training, you're just involved.
Yeah, Trevor's been, I mean, you got to realize I've been with Trevor since 2005. And, if I wasn't working out underneath him, I was helping coach his classes at his gym at Grudge. So I've been with Trevor for so long, and little did I know, how much, how lucky I was at the time. You know what I mean? Um, you know, I really felt it when he stepped away from coaching a lot of fighters, and and I could see why he did it, because it's so much time consuming, and now he could focus on you know the core group. But I realized, I've been an internship with him for so long. You know what I mean? And I mean, could I have taken some head coaching jobs? I probably could have. You know, but I just like where the role that I have. I love the fact that our team is so close and we have such a good time together that when it comes time to for business, everybody knows their job. And I don't know, I guess that's just kind of been the vibe that me and Trevor have developed over these years. And we just get along great. It's crazy, and that's why, like, out of all the fighters that we've coached together or done, or trained with, Justin Gaethje is the easiest fucking one out of everybody. I shit you not, he's so fucking easy. Like, he's not like worried about what cutting weight. He's not worried about fucking media or practice or shit is not going right or the food's not right. Like, he figures it out too, just like all of us.
Well, he recently changed his diet not too long ago. I mean, he's all in on this title run that he's going for right
Yeah.
now, and the thing with Justin is like he's even said it in past podcasts and interviews, during these fights, camps, he shuts it down. He doesn't
Yeah.
answer very many Instagram or Twitter DMs.
Mhm.
Um, you know, he doesn't go out and party or his mind is just focused on the task at hand, his job. He treats it like his job. And that was a great answer by you, because that kind of leads me into my next question. Like, you see a lot of camps and fighters have like a very strict when they're in camp, it's very strict. It doesn't seem like they're having a lot of fun. They might be behind the scenes and stuff like that, but it seems like your guys' team, has good chemistry. You guys like have a lot of fun and you put the work in. Like, how important is that, do you feel like, for Justin, in a sense, like coming into this fight with Poirier, to, be able to have that fun, get his mind off training, and then come back to training with just like a fresh mind?
Well, I think a lot of it is just knowing your fighter too. You know what I mean? Like, you really got to know your fighter. But it's just so real. Like, I was in the gym when Justin first came into Grudge. Back in the day when the guy didn't even know how to throw 1-2. To be honest with you, you know what I mean. He just knew how to wrestle, and that was it. And that was kind of like how we met each other. And but he wanted to go with all the gangsters. You know what I mean? Like, he wanted to go with all the old heads, and he did. And the funny story was, Trevor was like, "All right, I'll let you go with them, but you got to wear a headgear." And he looked, and he had glasses at the time, and he had to do the, "Why do I got to wear a helmet?" Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it was that's how pure he was. You know what I mean? Like, he had no literally training at all. But the guy would come in and he was tough as fucking nails. And once you start teaching him some shit, well, look at him now. You know what I mean? But like, back to your answer, or your question was, it's so fun because Ben was his college wrestling coach, you know, and then it's funny because Ben came in right after the Poirier fight. You know what I mean? Ben hit
It's
up
like a
Justin.
team of guys that know him.
Yep. And Ben Jerrington called Justin that Monday and said, "Hey man, let's go to lunch, and I want to take and just talk to you." And said, "Hey, why don't you use some of your wrestling?" You know what I mean? This was right after the first time Dustin Poirier and Justin fought. So Ben has literally been in Justin's camp now since that fight. And I mean, and you can see the difference. I mean, just of what he's done, in the past few years now. And uh we all just know Justin. And um, and do we all have fun? Yes. But when it's time to work, like, we just know it's time to work. And like right now, like, I have the most fun with Justin pretty much. I tease him, I pick on him, me and him go at it all the time. But like, now that it's getting closer to peak week and fight time, I'm quiet a little bit more because he's gonna fuck me up. He's a turning time bomb now. So I'm just kind of, you know, the other day the funny thing was he he was mad at me at sparring. He goes, "Your water's too warm." You know what I mean? Like he was yelling at me, "Oh, your $7 bottle of Fiji water is too warm." So guess what? The next day, all right, you're the guy I know. Um, I went and got a Yeti, put a put a cooler full of Yeti, put them on ice, 24 hours. He came in. Hey, boss, how about this water? Is this good water? He goes, "You're such a dumbass, dude." But he got ice cold water now. So
Hey,
yeah. We just
hey,
man, it's just like honestly, I always said, man, when Justin's done fighting, I'll probably step away from the game too, you know? Just because I know that I'll always want somebody to be like Justin. I can't make people like Justin. You know what I mean?
he's just a
And like
fun guy.
yeah. And it's crazy because we fucking like that guy so much, and he treats all of us so well. Like when it, like me and him, like I can speak this on my part. We never talked about a percentage of his purse or anything. We just, you want me a part of your camp? Yes, I'm there. I'm due, just because I've been with him for so long. Um, but like way before he even had a pot to piss in, you know what I mean? Like he was borrowing money from me, you know what I mean? So uh, I just was like, yeah, yeah. So when he started making these bigger checks and he would write me a check, and I was like, holy shit, picking him up, kissing him. I'm like, let's go, baby. And so it's just like, you know, I always say I'm his bigger brother, but and he's my little brother, but um, he literally just he takes care of all of us. You know what I mean? So it's crazy. He's
I
just
mean, I've always saw it that way that you and I mean, he loves Trevor. He looks up to Trevor like a father figure, I feel like, but
yep.
you and him have always had that special like best friend relationship, brother
Yep.
relationship. You guys are always messing with each other. Now, Luke, this one's a little funny because I always used to be like, man, Justin needs to stop picking on Luke, man. Like he's always just hitting him, kicking him. One of these days, Luke's gonna lay him out. And then I
Mhm.
see the video of you pushing him in the bushes.
Oh, that shit went viral, right? That shit went crazy.
And I said,
And
Luke's
I
had
was
enough
like,
of
oh
his
man,
shit.
yeah. Oh, it was just so funny because I believe me, I egg it on. I egg it on for a little bit of the kicks and the punches and everything, but um, we just have fun, like I said. And that moment, we just got done working out there at the gym, and we're getting ready to leave, and me and Justin are going back and forth in like an argument, right? And I say it how it is. And Trevor just pushed record at the perfect time, right? And he was recording it, and we were just started slap boxing outside, and finally I pushed him in those bushes. I wish he would have stopped. He would have stopped recording after I pushed him in the bushes, but I ran like a little bitch. Yeah, but yeah, it was fun. That one went crazy, but there's like Justin and I, we just have that bond where his he has a twin brother back in Arizona, and his brother. I just know what it's like to miss my brothers back home. So, like me and him, just we just we've. I don't think there's been a time in our life where he's ever been really mad at me. He's been some disappointment. I know he's been disappointment at me when I come into the hotel room a little drunk, but you know, I don't think there's a time where we've ever been mad at each other, or you know what I mean. So
Well, I mean, so how much does Trevor like? Does Trevor ever tell you guys like, "Hey, stop horse playing"? Because I mean,
oh
not I know it's serious and stuff like that. Like when it comes down to business,
yeah,
I know it's probably serious, but is there ever times where Trevor's like, "Luke, Justin, knock that shit off"?
well yeah, there is times where like a lot of this starts up like before practice. So before practice, me and him usually warm up together. We always usually try to, we hit each hit excuse me, we hit each other we mess around and we talk shit while we're doing it, but um Trevor's like usually like, all right, that's enough. You guys got 10 minutes, right? Lately, I've been like, all right, it's time. It's time. I don't need no more. Let's go. But yeah, it's usually 10 minutes. And it's like I said, like we all know our time when it's time to clock in for practice. And then like after practice, it's all game, it's free game. And um we just know how to have fun. And what's even better is guys that are starting to come in and help Justin train. They see like the motions that we have, and they're like, "Damn, y'all guys have a fucking fight camp." You know, I can see why it fucking you guys get along so well and have fun. And other people see it. You know what I mean? And because fighting's already enough pressure.
Yeah.
Fighting, it's a mental fucking crazy game you put in your head, right? So like why even add more to it, And I feel like, as my job, I feel like, man, make it fun. Remember shit the, the times that you were wishing to get in the UFC or making that money and holding the belt up, do you remember all that shit? Yeah, because it wasn't too long ago. You know what I mean? Enjoy this shit. This is a process. Enjoy everything.
Yeah, you blink and it's over.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I mean, that's like I always try to tell people. I'm like, if you are an MMA fan, a true MMA fan, and you have never watched Justin Gaethje live, you are gonna miss out when he hangs him up. I promise you that, because there's nobody else that's like him. Win or lose, like even when he loses, he goes out there and fucking puts it out on there for you guys, and that's what why people ask me like, man, every time before fights, I puke in the bathroom. Like I lose it, and I can't control it. Believe me, I've tried to control. Just because I know that dude, every night, every time he goes steps in there live, he's gonna he's trying to kill himself. He don't care. He's gonna go out there and go on his shield, and I know that's what fighters do, and that's what I used to do. But as you get older and have kids, you tell people, you start thinking like there's so much more into life than just this fighting. But you cannot tell a trained athlete right now at their
Especially
highest, you know,
well,
that hey,
especially
there's
one that
more.
doesn't have kids and this is their life.
This is their life. This is what's gonna, this is it. And who am I to tell him that? Because I was the same way at the same age. And this guy's fighting for a whole hell of a lot more money than I ever did, or more fame, more things for setting up life. So, you know, he's just willing to throw himself out there and die out there every time. And y'all
Yeah,
see it.
and I think this is the most important part of Trevor, or not Trevor, Justin's career, because Trevor, even this last fight, I'm not saying every fight's not important. Every fight's important, of course. But this last fight, I could tell it was very important because when they were doing like the embeddeds, Trevor said, "Coaches, no phones out, nothing like that." Like it was
Yep.
very focused, and that's why I like when Justin Gaethje specifically is the underdog on the sports books
Yeah.
because he sees it and then that brings out the best in him. And I think he took it very disrespectfully that he's been a top 5 fighter in this division for years.
Yeah.
And a guy that was up and coming was minus 200 on him or something like that. He wasn't having it. And he went out there, man, and all the hard work paid off. But, coming into the second fight with Dustin, 5 years ago, it didn't go his way. Much different fighter, obviously. But, like, what do you think is different about Justin that he's like what do you think's different about him that he's made improvements to his game and all of that stuff like these last 5 years that this time against Dustin it's just a completely different fight like where you think like this is what he's done that's going to change the result.
He's grown. He's grown. He's a grown man. When he first came in the UFC, he was just a young boy, dude. I truly believe that. He's still a young man. But, you know, that was his third fight in the UFC. I mean, Justin has been fighting the best of the best since he stepped in the UFC. You know what I mean? Like, and you tell me right now, how many guys have done that? Like just came from another league and just start fighting and just start winning all these guys. I mean, you look at a guy like Michael Chandler, same thing, right? He came from Bellator, came right in, starting fighting the best of the best. You lose, you start losing, right? You learn from your mistakes and whatever. But Justin, he literally has, you know, I truly believe he needed the Eddie Alvarez loss and he needed the Dustin Poirier loss. That was the best thing that's happened to him. I hate to say it, but that is like um he wouldn't developed as a fighter. He wouldn't even as a coach. You can't even expect to get better as a coach if if it ain't broken, why fix it? You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like we found out that what he needs to work on his defense, different offense. Like he just can't go in there. Like you can go in there reckless and chaotic, but you got to have some defense on it too. You know what I mean? You can't just go in there damage for damage and hope you come out alive. You know, and you think back at that fight, that's Dustin's like one or two kicks away from not walking, you know. Um, and I truly believe Justin is a more well-rounded fighter nowadays than he was. When did they fight? 2018.
No, they fought in 18, I believe. So what is
Yeah,
it? 5 years?
yeah, 5 years ago. So I, you know, and I know Justin's, he's gotten sharper. He's gotten better. I mean, look what he's done in his career too. Um, beating McGregor and all the, just everything he's done has gotten better too. But I'm just saying, at the time, Dustin and Justin fought for the first time. Dustin's gonna realize he fought a young man then, and he's gonna fight a man come the 29th now, and a
I think
skilled man.
Well, I think that, like, personally, I was just gonna say, like, I think that you don't learn much from. Well, I shouldn't say that. You learn from your wins, but you don't learn as much from your wins as you do your losses, because your losses really show like what you came back, like when you come back off a loss and you win, it shows what you improved on.
Yeah,
So
100%, 100%. But you know, either way, win or lose, the winner is going to be the fans that night. Because I'm going to tell you right now, like I, I personally believe Justin's going to come away with the W. I really do. Um, but it's a fight game, and it's a fucking crazy game, and Poirier is so dangerous still. You know what I mean? But I just truly believe Justin has grown up in those 5 years, and he's gonna face a different uh Justin. And like I said, like he those leg kicks then, those punches then, just wait come to a 29th. They're just a little bit different now.
Luke, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know the fights are going on. I saw you're
Hell
cooking
yeah.
up some tacos sometime tonight, so I don't
Yep.
want to take up too much of your time. I really appreciate you joining me. Uh, for those of you that don't know, uh, Luke is one of Justin's coaches. Justin will be in action July 29th for the BMF Championship against Dustin the Diamond Poirier. It will be an absolute banger. You do not want to miss it. Thank you again, Luke, for joining me. It was my pleasure to interview you, and have a great night, and watch some
Hey,
fights and enjoy the fam, man.
you bet. Thank you. And take that Raiders hat off. I always tell Justin,
Oh
take
my
that
God, man.
off, man.
Man.